it's Old Man Van. We're back here in the Old Man Van Cave, in the Old Man Van Castle, and I'm here to give you a long-term review of the Brooks Glycerin GTS 20. Now, I've been giving you 100+ mile reviews, but I'm going to tell you, this is a 200+ mile review. So before we get started on the Brooks Glycerin GTS 20, couple of administrative things, remember? If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you don't like it, oh well, but hey, constructive criticism's good, so please leave comments, good, constructive. And if you haven't subscribed yet to the Old Man Van Running channel, please do so. Let your friends know, let your running pals know, and hit that notification bell so you'll get notified when more videos are posted. Also, if you'd like to see the detailed review in my first impressions video of the Brooks Glycerin GTS 20, I'll provide a link in the description below, and there's also a card that you can click on at the end of this video. So getting right into it. So far, Old Man Van has put 281.85 miles on the Brooks Glycerin GTS 20. Almost 300 miles. And, for me, 300 miles at least is an absolute necessity in every daily trainer that I use. This shoe has met and exceeded all of my expectations. So let's see how the Brooks Glycerin GTS 20 has performed over almost 300 miles. So I'm going to tell you, this shoe has met or exceeded all my expectations. This shoe has turned into that GTS or go-to shoe for my long runs. Throughout my marathon training block for the Marine Corps Marathon, this was the shoe that I picked every time, almost every time, I went for a really long run, a 15+ mile run. This was the shoe that I wore. The midsole is holding up, and this is that nitrogen-infused DNA Loft V3. And I'm telling you, I really, really, really love this midsole material. It's got some pop. Not a huge amount, but it's got enough pop. It's got enough softness that this is the shoe that I reached for almost every long run during my Marine Corps Marathon training. And you know what? It was somewhat versatile. It's 10.9 ounces in a men's size 9, so you say, hey, that's kind of heavy. But I'm going to tell you, this shoe does not feel as heavy as it actually is. This midsole material here, this DNA Loft V3 nitrogen infused, I really found that it's resilient. I really found that it has a little bit of spring to it. And I really, really do like the softness. Compared to a shoe such as the Arahi 6 from Hoka, or even the Gel Kayano 29 from Asics, this shoe, this midsole, just has some life to it. Some life to it that I really, really enjoy. It just feels real good. So that GTS really for me means go-to shoe. The upper has held up well. It's just very comfortable, true to size in the toe box, the midfoot. The amount of padding in the heel and ankle collar, it's just right. I like the padded tongue. It's not overly done. I don't have any problems getting a lockdown. And, they have flat laces like Old Man Van loves. So everything about this shoe just works well for me. From a stability standpoint, the tried and true Brooks guide rail system. It's not overly done. There's no medial post. It's just these guide rails. And actually in the GTS 20, they're less firm or less structured than in, say, the Adrenaline series or some of the other Brooks shoes. So it's a real gentle guidance to keep your foot in line. And as you can see, it's got a very wide sole, a very wide midsole and outsole. So you get this nice wide platform along with those gentle guide rails to just gently keep your foot in line. So it's not restricting your feet or forcing your feet to correct. It's just allowing you to naturally go through your gait cycle with gentle, gentle control. Really, really good. It's still got a little bit of flexibility in the forefoot, not overdone. It's just really, really smooth feeling when you're running it. You get a little bounce from that midsole material, and it's just a nice, smooth roll through. It's not, it's not a pronounced rocker, but it's just a nice smooth roll through the gait cycle. It's got a little bit of flexibility, but not overly so. Again, I just really love this shoe. The outsole has been holding up very similar to previous versions of the Brooks Glycerin GTS series. I do get wear, and you see this on all of my shoes right here on the outside. You see we've got 281 miles, almost 300 miles. I have had to use, remember, what do I use? I use shoe goo, and I use it on here, but you know what? I'm getting typical wear that I would get on a Brooks shoe on this outsole. So it's held up real well in the forefoot, no excessive wear whatsoever. Traction is really good. No issues with this outsole or midsole breaking down. So lastly, on performance. So as I mentioned, there's a little bit of pop, a little bit of responsiveness to this DNA Loft V3 nitrogen infused. I just really like the feel of it. It's got more than enough cushion for those long runs. I've run in this shoe all the way up past 20 miles, no problem whatsoever, and it maintains a little bit of that spring. It's not a huge amount. Listen, this is not a race shoe, right? This is not a fast day shoe, but I'm gonna tell you, if you are limited in your budget and you're not going out for world records, right? I would potentially wear this shoe for a marathon. You know, not a fast marathon, not as fast as I could and, you know, like the Endorphin Pro 3 that I like to wear, but I can see how someone might choose this shoe. I can tell you, it would be better than many of the other daily trainers for a marathon distance. Outside of, say, the Saucony Tempest, it's got plenty of cushioning for that long distance, and it's got a little bit of responsiveness. Doesn't feel as heavy on the feet as it actually is. I think it's a shoe that someone, if you had to, could run in this shoe for a marathon. What I found in my runs, I found it's not difficult to get down to those paces in this shoe. So it wasn't a shoe like the Asics Gel Cano 29 where, you know, for me, it's really hard to hit those paces in that shoe and maintain it and be comfortable over a long period of time. I just have to work a little too hard. Whereas in this shoe, I'm able to pick up that pace gradually and get there. And I find myself running at a decent pace in this shoe without really working too hard to get there. So that brings me to ratings. I originally, in my first impressions review, rated the Brooks Glycerin GTS 20 as a 9.5 out of 10. Outstanding score. I've been a Brooks fanboy in the past, but I've kind of expanded my horizons. Really like Saucony now, have raced in Asics shoes. There's a lot of different shoes that I'm wearing right now. This, to me, is the best Brooks shoe that I've ever put on my feet outside of the Brooks Hyperion Tempo. For a daily trainer, a long distance daily trainer, this is my favorite shoe to date. Over these 281.85 miles, nothing has changed from my first impressions review. I'm going to keep this shoe at a 9.5 out of 10. The outsole is held up. The midsole is held up. I'm almost at 300 miles. It still has that same level of cushioning. It still has that same level of responsiveness or springiness that it had when I first put it on. Nothing has changed there, and I really enjoy the muted level of control given by these softer guide rails and that nice wide base. So thanks everybody for watching my long-term review of the Brooks Glycerin GTS 20. A great shoe. There are more shoe reviews to come. I've got that poll out, that short poll out that's going to close on today, Sunday, while I'm filming this video. And that's going to be the next new updated Stability Daily Trainer that I will be purchasing with my own coin and doing a first impressions review on. There are other new updated Stability shoes that I'll also be purchasing. I'll be putting polls out as we go to see what the next one will be. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, and then you'll get your voice in deciding what the next Stability Daily Trainer is that Old Man Van will purchase and review. So thanks again, and as always, lace up those shoes and let's get out on the roads.